high school youth Massachusetts, youth New Hampshire. Coach, everybody East Coast, huh? No California guys.
No, it looks like we
Was
got the
was
all New England. New England, and then
we
there was
got a
that one from
Wisconsin guy
Michigan, right?
popped up here? Brother from another mother. Connecticut, sixth grade. Joe coaches sixth grade. Hey, this is a good target market.
Love it.
Hey, I really hope you guys appreciate that. Kenny and I's feedback last year was guys were attending the summit. Jeremy and Matt were two of them, and said, "Hey, it'd be nice if we had a couple of youth speakers on here." The high school guys are great, but sometimes it's not apples to apples. So I hope you guys appreciate. We went out and got the 10 youth speakers. Um, Kyle Finch, I think, just wrapped up. Yeah, Kyle Finch is guy, one of my Pistolini guys up here in California. Um, a player I used to coach, Tyler Moody. He's had a lot of success running our Pistol Wing T. He was one of my players in high school. He's just killing it at the middle school level. He got called into work today, so we rescheduled his two talks to Monday if you want to watch live. But obviously, we're going to record it. And I think we had some youth guys yesterday. Obviously, Jeremy and Matthew. I think there was a total of 10 youth guys. So if you guys kind of hunt around there, if you're interested in specifically youth coaches, I'm looking real quick. Gerald Bateman on Friday night. That was a youth talk. Yeah, those were the youth talks. Gerald Bateman, if you guys are looking specific youth, today was obviously Brewster and Jeremy and Kyle Finch were all youth. And then Monday will be Tyler Moody going twice. And those were our youth guys. So hope you guys appreciated us bringing some youth talks. Hey, Jeremy, they didn't come in here to hear me talk, buddy. It's all yours.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Rick. So again, my name is Jeremy Levesque. I am from Western Massachusetts, Berkshire County. I actually pull up my contact info here. Like I said, the play that I've got kind of streaming on replay here. This was the play we ran to actually seal the county championship this year, and I'll get into why that's kind of been why that's my title slide here. Real quick, you can kind of see it. I'm super unbalanced. I've got my guard on this backside, and there's literally nobody to the left of him. It wasn't on purpose. My tackle from this side lined up on the wrong side. And like I said, it ended up working. But again, it's just to kind of show how defenses don't necessarily adjust when it comes to formations. You can see over here, you've got 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe on this side with one blocker. And I mean, over here, you got guard, tackle, and another a split end, two running backs, a lead blocking running back. So again, just playing numbers games at the youth level can definitely get you pretty far. Here's my contact information. I'm just kind of getting into Twitter and everything like that. I'm looking to build up a brand a little bit. Again, I love talking football, whether it's through Zoom. Matt Brewster and I think Matt's in here now. We did a Zoom maybe 2 weeks ago or so. That's up on Kenny's site for his youth coaching side of things. And but again, so I coach 5th and 6th grade football. I've been coaching now for 16 years. I just finished my 16th year. So again, I'm the 5th and 6th grade head coach. I'm the OC up at the high school. And again, I've kind of done it all. I've had a lot of success at the youth level as a head coach and a youth coach. Or as a head coach and an assistant, I was under kind of a legend from the area who I think he coached for 25, 30 years. He coached me. I think he's gotten 30 years, 17 championships or 17 championship games. It's just absolutely unreal. So I kind of modeled a lot of things I've done around what he kind of does or what he kind of did. In the last 4 seasons as a 5th and 6th grade coach, I've been to 4 championships. Won 2 of them, lost 2 of them. One of them that I lost, we had an undefeated team. We just couldn't get it done in the championship game. At the high school, I've been coaching up at our high school now this is going to be my 3rd season coming up, 4th season coming up. I help with the offense. I installed Kenny's gun tee up there. And again, it's the same thing from the top on down, little nuances between the two. But I'll be honest with you, we did chalkboard talks with the youth and the high school kids, and some of my youth kids were teaching my high school kids. So they really bought into it. And like I said, it's just cool to be able to kind of merge the two and get the 18-year-old kid and the 8-year-old kid kind of all running the same thing. So when they're able to talk football, that 8-year-old kid talking to that high school kid, it's cool stuff. It really gets that buy-in. So our league structure, I don't know if this is in the way. I don't know how to get rid of it. Um, I don't think you're going to lose anything other than maybe a title. So our league structure, we've got 3 divisions: our Pee Wee junior seniors, our Pee Wees are 3rd and 4th grade, juniors 5th and 6th, seniors 7th and 8th, and we do have a weight limit for each one. So with a weight limit, it doesn't mean you can't play. It just means you can't run with the football, catch the football. You have to play tackle to tackle on offense, and you can't be outside the tackles on defense. If you get an interception or a fumble recovery, you can't advance it, and if you can't be on special teams. Besides that, it's kind of fair game. So that's kind of the breakdown of the 3 divisions. Our program, we had a down year, at least at the junior level. The juniors only had 15 kids this year, the team that I coached. They haven't had numbers since Pee Wee's on up. They've just kind of struggled with kids at that age group. Our Pee Wees, I think, had over 30, and our seniors were pretty close to 30 as well. So again, it's just a 2-year age gap where we just didn't have a ton of kids. They're tough kids. I'll tell you what, those 15 kids, we kind of adopted the mantra of the baddest 15 in the county, because we weren't the fastest, we weren't the most athletic, but we had to be the toughest. And like I said, we ended up winning it this year. I'll kind of touch on that a little bit, but I won't ramble on too long with all this. I know you're here to learn football, not learn about me. But our program, like I said, is vertically aligned with our high school, meaning what our high school runs, our youth runs for the most part. And it just made it a very easy transition. Since I'm the OC up at the high school, I was able to I installed this Kenny system at the high school on down. We start the first Monday in August is our first day that we can actually practice. We can't really do anything in the off season. And even with that, it's tough to compete with the other sports nowadays. Even in the fall, it's tough to compete with the sports. You've got fall baseball, you got AAU basketball competing with us. My best running back from 2 years ago, he was probably the best running back, maybe second best running back in the county as a 10-year-old in the juniors. So 5th grader in the juniors. He decided not to play this last year because he wanted to play basketball. I mean, the kid, great kid, loved the kid to death, but I don't know, he's maybe 4'10" and kind of wide. I'm not gonna say wider than he is tall. He's not fat or anything, but he's definitely built like a running back and not a basketball player. Good basketball player, super football player. So that was a little disappointing, but again, we still ended up all right. Practice wise, we went 4 practices a week during this the month of August. Once school started, we dropped down to 3. We used to do 5 nights a week. 1, it got to be too much for a lot of people. And 2, what that actually did for me, because I every year I'd lose a handful of kids to a week-long vacation right in the middle of our playing. So, and a lot of times it was a key player for us that we needed at it. So I kind of I set the precedence that, okay, we're gonna go 4 days a week. It's gonna be Monday to Thursday, and you're gonna have a long weekend every weekend. And that helped a little bit, given the parents that knowing that they had Friday, Saturday, Sunday to take a last minute trip before school starts. It definitely helped a little bit. Didn't solve every problem, but it definitely did help. So our season, we only have 7 teams in our county. We play 6 regular season games and a 3-round playoff at the end of the season where everybody makes the playoffs. That has definitely come in handy for us. 2 years ago, we were the 6th seed, going 6 out of 7 seed, and made it to the championship and lost. This year we started the season 0-4, won our last 2 regular seasons, so we came into the playoffs as a 5 seed and ended up winning the championship. So I mean, it does come down to kind of who gets hot at the right time, and it's like that kind of wherever you're at. So again, I'm not an everybody gets a trophy type of guy, but it has benefited me a little bit with having everybody make the playoffs. Something that's not necessarily part of the league structure or necessarily formational or anything like that I did want to bring up just on it from a youth coach perspective is kind of that next level of like what I feel coaching is. And obviously we all know X's and O's and everything like that. And actually I know Rick last year, I think Rick and Kenny put together it was like a culture clinic for the coaches, and it really didn't do well. So I talked to Rick about it, just kind of how it's disappointing that, I mean, it's great that we're all football guys. We like X's and O's and everything like that, but there is a next level to coaching, and it's about like building these kids up and teaching life lessons and everything like that. So what I started doing was the start of the week. And what that is every week. So we start off the season with 3 captains. And we are, so for like kickoffs or the coin tosses, we can send four captains out. So we only named 3 captains that are our captains for the year. After the preseason, the 3 captains decide on who the stud of the week is. And so they pick the stud of the week, and it's not necessarily the best kid on the team, the best athlete or the most popular kid. It was a kid that maybe showed up to every practice, worked hard, maybe he was on the scout team and just got the crap beat out of him, but he showed up to every practice, worked hard, just like that kid that you wanted at the practice. And it's all voted on by the players, 100% by the captains. Coaches have no say in it. I don't put my 2 cents in. I don't encourage anything. I let them run with it 100%. So the first week or after the preseason, the 3 captains that the coaches chose picked the first stud of the week. Those 3 captains need to give a 1-minute speech in front of the entire team and all the coaches on why they chose that kid to be the stud of the week, the captain of the week, whatever you want to call them. So like it's cool for like the kid that's getting nominated for it to hear the good things about him, like what their teammates think about him. It's one thing to hear from coach like, hey, you had a good week. But when it's a buddy from school, or even maybe somebody that's not a buddy from school, that maybe it's not a popular kid in school, he doesn't really talk to anybody on the team, but he likes football. And to hear like all these other kids, and again, our captains are obviously always the best players on the team, 90% of the time, 95% of the time. So to hear that from that perspective is awesome. But again, on the other side of that, now these kids have to give a speech in front of the team, which public speaking is not easy for a lot of people, for most people, I'd say. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of public speaking. I don't mind it as much for football because it's what I'm passionate about. I know football. I love football. So on that end of it, it's not super difficult for me. But like if I'm talking about something I'm not super confident in, like I struggle with it. I'm not a huge fan of it. And to kind of teach these kids that lesson growing up, like kind of get through that, it's cool to see. I've had kids that in the 2 years that I've coached them, the only words they spoke were when they had to give their stud of the week speech. So like I said, seeing that is definitely cool. So after that first week, whoever gets chosen the stud of the week, now they become part of the management or the captain group, whatever you want to call it, and they decide who the following week is going to be the stud of the week. But now that one kid that was the stud the previous week has to do the 30 seconds. I drop it down to 30 seconds because it's only the one kid. So now that one kid's got to say why the captains decided on this other kid for the following. So again, I mean, I know that's not necessarily X's and O's or really a league structure type deal, but again, I think it's just definitely something cool to kind of add to a program. And our seniors actually adopted it this year. I've been doing it for the last 3 years. All right, now let's get into this. Let's see, I got something in the chat. Do you guys run the same scheme across all levels in your program? For the juniors and seniors, we do. The peewees, we tweak a little bit. And I mean, obviously there's little tweaks between the teams, but the scheme itself is pretty much the same. We all run Kenny's Gun T system. And that's, like I said, right from our 3rd and 4th grade, which is definitely a different version of it. But from the 5th, 6th grade level, right up through the seniors in high school, it's the same scheme that we were on all the way through. All right. So the why do we use motions? Why do we use misdirection or why do we use formations? Again, a lot of this stuff you guys probably know. So again, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but again, I do like talking to this because I don't know, we might have brand new coaches in here. So I do like to kind of touch on everything. Again, misdirection. You send a kid motioning one way and you counter back the other way. I mean, we had a lot of success with our counter off that look out of empty. And again, if we have time at the end, I can definitely show that. Creates mismatches. You can motion a kid out of the backfield. We motioned out of the backfield, got him into the flats, and hit him on a lot of like quick little swing passes. And he's a super quick kid. Got into space, made a lot of plays for us. Confused defensive assignments. That's probably more on the high school side of it. I mean, yeah, I know like our linebackers, they know, okay, my inside linebacker knows he's A gap responsible, things like that. We know like there's our force guy in the end, all that kind of stuff. But I don't think there's too many youth teams that necessarily adjust because of emotion and change defensive assignments. But again, for the high school level, that definitely helps. Creating space, going empty at the youth level is a game changer. At least in my area, we are a rural area. We are a lot of I backs, tight formations. So when you come out 5 wide, that it blows a lot of these kids' minds and even some of the coaches' minds. They don't necessarily know how to line up to it. So, and again, it creates space. Everybody knows the toughest thing to do in youth and on a youth defense is open field tackling. If you can create space, and again, going back to creating mismatches, getting your F out in space, getting anybody out in space, just makes it's difficult on a defense. Being adaptable, that's pretty self-explanatory. Being able to kind of get different looks out there, being able to shift and adjust things like that. Hide intentions. I mean, you're going to see today. I run power out of I think, and these are just the 7 formations that I kind of had decent film on. But again, 7 formations, and we ran it right and left. So there's 14 different formations for one play. So again, it hides a lot of it. And again, obviously we run the same formation with different plays. So again, it's tough to really scout our offense with this system. Then exploit personnel strengths. Again, kind of going right back to my kid, you'll see why I'm kind of bigging him up right now. My F from this last year, I mean, he was a burner. We got him into space and he was shifty as hell and he was tough to tackle. Yeah, man. There we go. All right. So formation wise, I've been part of staffs where every little adjustment on offense had a totally different play name. So like you'd have, so like this would be red. And then if you wanted to just move, say the A over to the strong side, it would turn into Raven. And then if you wanted to move your B to the quick side, it would be a whole nother play call. So now you're learning all of these new like full plays. And then everybody, you got 11 kids that need to try to learn all of these little tweaks. And I listen, as a coach, I struggled with remembering all these, let alone a 10, 11-year-old kid. So again, I don't know how much experience a lot of you guys have with Kenny's system. So a lot of this might be redundant. So I'm going to kind of go through it. Again, I shared my number. I'm going to share it again at the end. Feel free to give me a text, shoot me an email, whatever you want to do. If you call me and I don't know the number, I'm probably not going to answer it, but shoot me a quick text. And I'll talk. We can definitely dive a little bit deeper into a lot of this, but I'm going to get into like so this next one is our tags. So again, everything is based off of the red and the blue formation. So red is strong right, which is tight end wing right, and twins to the quick side. Blue is just literally the complete opposite. We flip our Y, our B, our tackles, our guards, everybody, the entire formation flips. So our strong tackle and strong guard are always going to be on the strong side of the field. So and that just kind of makes it easier for blocking assignments. So like on Buck, the strong guard is always pull kick. To where if you didn't flip your line, all right, if it's strong right, if it's going to the right, that guard's pull kick. If it's going to the left, he's got to pull wrap. It definitely it adds more things that these kids need to learn. And we're trying to keep it as simple as possible for these guys. And again, this will make more sense kind of as I go. These are just different formational tags and motions that we run at the youth. I have run a few different ones here and there that might not be here, but these were kind of our base ones that we ran a lot of. I'm not going to go over all of them here because over the next 7 plays, I think you see just about all of those formational tags. So you'll be able to see it there. Over here where it says like strong for F, all that does is it puts the F to the strong side. So it just takes your F here and moves them over here. A lot of times, the only time we're making that move is whether we want to have him attack backside with a handoff, or if we want to take our quarterback and run to the strong side. So what I mean by it's implied, like our F just knows that if we are going to call red Q power, so the quarterback running off tackle here, which is what we're going to be looking at today, he knows, okay, Q power is going to the strong side. I'm the lead blocker on it. So he just automatically knows to go to the strong side. We got our empty look, bug, trips and Mustang, talk to our B. Again, I'm not going to go through them all, name them all off. But what I want to point out is our F needs 2 tags. Our B needs to know 3 tags. X is 3, A is 3, and Y is 2. And really like the brown and the black, those are actually another formation, which I'll show. So really like these two, the Y for the youth only needs 1. But again, as you get higher up with the programs and everything like that. Like at high school, we have a lot more than this. The senior division has more than what we got here. But again, the seniors this last year, this is going to be their 3rd year in the system because I had them for 2 years running the system. Now they're up at the seniors running it. So again, you're able to build off it every single year. Quick refresh to start the year, and it's like riding a bike. These kids pick this up pretty quick. So you save a lot of time in the preseason by keeping the same verbiage going up. And again, there is definitely a little bit of difference between like juniors and seniors. But for the most part, it's pretty close to the same. And our motions are pretty straightforward. It's either a flat jet motion or an orbit motion out of our A and B. In our F, Kenny's system just has fly for his F motion. But there was times where I wanted to have F motion across the formation or out towards the sideline. And with just a single tag and him lining up in the middle of the field, it was tough to really verbalize that to which way I wanted them to go. So I added Flip and Frida, and those are right and left. Flip is left, Frida's right. So that's kind of what we got there. Let's see. One reason I'm trying to install Kenny's system is because we struggle with undersized players on our team. Do you think the system will work well? And what are some of the struggles you'll run into? Sean, I saw your message. I'm gonna kind of get through some of this, and we're gonna kind of talk on some of that as we go. So at the end of the show, at the end of this, if I didn't answer everything you're looking for, definitely let me know again, and I'll answer anything you don't have. And again, feel free to text me as well. But I'm going to answer that as well. But a lot of that's going to kind of be answered as we go through here. All right. So here's our base formation. Red, we already kind of went over that. Tight end, wing right. X and A split to the backside. F is opposite our strength. Obviously, quarterback in the middle. We're at gun. We keep our quarterback heels at 4 yards. I think Kenny is heels at 5. I've gone back and forth on that. We don't do a ton of RPOs, so creeping them up a little bit makes we hit the line a little bit quicker. If you are running some RPOs or even run options, creeping them back that extra yard gives you just that half a second longer, which is huge when that, especially a young quarterback's trying to make that read. So, like I said, here's our red formation, and this next play is going to be just our real basic red F power. So just off tackle to the right. I should have drawn this up, but our B valleys through here, inserts inside the tight end, and our F just gets upfield. So here's this. So this is from 2 years ago. This kid right here is that running back that I was talking about. Let's see, I think I can do this. So yeah, this kid right here is that stud running back that didn't end up playing this year, but watch him on this run. You'll see why I'm a big fan of his and wish he came back. And again, this is nothing fancy, just off tackle right with an insert. Again, just a nice hard nose power runner. He was shifty. He had hands out of the backfield. Just an overall kind of dude for us that year. This, like I said, this was the year we went undefeated and lost in a championship game. But if you go back to the all right, so you get back to the beginning of this. So this is our base. Like I said, we have nobody split out to the strong side here. So what we got is, again, we got numbers at the line clearly. Again, you're going to see a lot of wacky formations out of some of these defenses that definitely helped us. But I think a lot of coaches see that with defenses you see at the youth, whether it's maybe a coach that's just a father that doesn't necessarily have a ton of football experience. Maybe it's a kid that their kids just don't understand it and can't line up correctly. You see all sorts of reasons to why you get some funky looks. But again, you got 3 guys way outside here. And again, I mean, they kind of come down and try to make a play. But again, if the running back wasn't as good as he was, then it would have. Oops, sorry. I'm used to being in huddle and not playing videos through here. So again, these guys out on the edge here, they're unblocked. If these were solid players, they're crashing down here and they're stopping us at the line of scrimmage. Granted, they're probably going to be in a different front, but again, you're going to see how when they come, these kids just kind of sit back. This kid just kind of this is their force player right out here, and he just goes upfield. So this kid right here, I mean, he's super far outside, and he just walks up the field. So he's taking himself out of the play. And again, we just tuck it up underneath. What we do is say these guys were dudes and they were coming up and making plays, and these guys were condensed down, which we see quite a bit when we're in this look without anybody split out over here. These guys usually do tend to collapse down and really shut, especially if we're having success running off tackle. So what we'll do is our adjustment to that is we'll go in red X. Again, it's down here. I don't know how to move this thing. Like I said, there we go. I don't know if that's the best place, but that's fine. It works for now. So you got red X, and like I said, so all X does is X is A and the X. So we're talking to the A and our X, and it tells them to go to the strong side of the field. Nothing changes for these 9 guys in the box. These 9 guys inside here, nothing changes. They are still lined up in red. The only thing that moves these guys is this tag Axe, and it makes it pretty simple. Most of these kids know how to spell Axe. If not, we teach them life skills. I think there's an E in Axe, but that's fine. I coach football. I'm not a spelling bee champion, but they get the point with that. So our A and X go over to the strong side, and what that'll do is that'll keep the corner outside. And a lot of times, what we find is it'll actually pull this invert, typically the force guy. What a lot of youth teams will do is they'll bring him way out onto our A. So I mean, usually these guys are a little bit wider than this. You'll see them in the game film kind of all over the place, but again, these 2 guys will drag if we get over an overload look here, those 2 will drag the guys to that outside. And so this is my team from this year. This was the first round of the playoffs. And again, you can see like our A is kind of tight here. He should have been further out. But again, this kid is even outside of him. So he's technically their force player who typically plays up here. But because we went X, this kid got nervous that we were going to throw on him. No, and again, youth kids, they see wide receiver split like that. Their first thought process is, oh, they're going out for passes. So they get outside here because they don't want to get burnt deep. Coach tells them all week long, don't get nobody behind you, don't get burnt deep. We see a lot of man, so that definitely helps. And all we did here is, again, going Axe, pulled these 2 guys out. They got their 3 linebackers, and right now there is nobody outside of our tackle. So we double down with our tackle and our end on this big dude. Oh, actually, there is somebody there. But again, it just down blocks. That kid was kind of big. So again, it just down blocks on the edge here because there's nobody out. So what we told our Y, our N, is as long as there is nobody outside of you, you're blocking down. And that sealed the edge here. He tries to valley, he tries to insert. But again, because everybody's blocking down, there's not necessarily a reason to insert, and he just kind of goes upfield. And again, this is that running back that I was telling you about that is just a burner. And I apologize for the film that's kind of shaky. Some of our films a little bit better than others. Unfortunately, when it's youth film, it's kind of what you get. I try to find like one parent to do it all year long and kind of coach them up as we go. But it's tough to find somebody. I've paid high school kids to do it, and it's hit and miss. Like I said, you'll see some game film that's awesome and some that's not so much. Again, you can see that kid just hit that edge and was gone. All right, I think I'm kind of rambling a little bit, so I kind of want to get through these so I can make sure to get the questions and answers on the end and get through all this. All right, so what we did here is our Mustang tag. So again, you got red X, again, red X, A and X over. Mustang tag is talking to our B. All that does is it brings our B into the backfield. He can be on the right side, he can be on the left side. It depends on if he's getting the ball and where the play's going. Actually, I think in the clip that's coming up, he is on this backside because we're running B power. So it's this look. Our F is here. He leads up through the hole. F comes across and gets behind our lead blocker. Nothing changes out here. Again, across the front, our Y has the same blocking rules. If there's nobody outside of him, he blocks down. And we just wash it down. With this group, actually, I'm surprised I haven't gotten that question yet. So with this group here, we did not do much pulling. It broke my heart to not do it. But we had 2 linemen. So we pretty much had 2 linemen. Again, we had 15 kids. We had 2 linemen that were dudes for us. And for every game except for the first game, we were missing one of them. So we just couldn't get that continuity with the kids. It was tough. And again, we fall off pretty heavily after those 2 kids. But again, so this is our B here. Our F just goes over to the strong side. And again, we're just attacking off tackle. So we're still running B power, or we're still running power. It's the same play for all these guys across the line. Nothing changes for these guys on this play. We're 3 plays deep. Nothing changes. So we'll play through this. This kid was a tough runner. He was a better blocker than runner, but again, he was a tough runner. That kid. So on that, you can see that end ended up getting outside of him. This blue team was a really well coached team. This is from the championship game, so he stayed more to the outside. So again, our wise rule: if there's somebody outside of you, you block them out. If not, you're blocking down. And again, this kid was outside. I don't think he made a great block on him, but he kind of rode him upfield just enough for us to get underneath him. And we got a good gain, a nice hard fought run. Not a huge gain, but again, we gained a couple yards there, and it just a different look. And all it is moving one guy. We had one word to the tag, moving one guy. It's the same thing for everybody else. All right, Beast. This isn't anything super fancy. So our Beast tag is a 2 tight end look. So we'll take our X, who is typically out here, and we'll typically sub him out for a bigger guy. Our X is typically a player that is a good kid, maybe not the best athlete, maybe not the toughest kid, but a good kid we want on the field. Maybe it's a kid like for this year, the kid that played X for us was a kid that just showed up to every practice. And when I'm struggling to get 12 kids to practice and you show up every night, I'm going to find a home for you. And maybe you're split out wide, and you'll see if you look at our split ends, especially this year, they don't do a whole hell of a lot. They don't really block anybody. And a lot of times I said, listen, you keep walking towards the sideline until that guy that's covering you stops, and then you stop. And we had some games where that X was literally standing a foot from me from the sideline because their guy went on it, and then we just played 10 on 10. And again, at the youth level, you're pulling a kid out, and I'll play 10 on 10, and it works out for us. But again, Beast just tells our X, you're coming in, you're playing tight end, and Mustang pulls our B into the backfield. Again, nothing too complicated. This ain't a great view. So you can see number 20, this was actually our B from the last play. He's the kid that got the ball. So this was 2 years ago. Again, we moved him in at tight end on the backside. This is our B, and we're running B power. So you can kind of see down here. So red Mustang B power is the call, and you're going to see it's nothing fancy. B comes across, it's still B power. Nothing fancy. Mustang B power. It comes across, gets up in the hole. Again, nothing too complicated. But again, now we're at 5 different looks. And again, we haven't even added any motions yet. So this is red flop empty. So this is where it gets a little more wordy. But again, now you're moving. So you're in your base red. So you got your tight end wing. Your F is so the empty tag talks to your F. So all that does is it tells them to go to the quick side in the empty look as like a slot receiver. Flop talks to our A, and it tells them to go from the quick side of the field over to the strong side of the field. Again, nothing fancy at all with this. And I think this formation, actually, we added a motion to it, which was a fly motion, a freedom motion. So F motion coming across. It's a fake handoff to the F. It's kind of a jet read, but there is no read. It's Q power. So the play call right here, red flop empty, Frida Q power. Some of these can get a little bit wordy, but again, they're easy tags. It's more if your quarterback can remember those 5, 6 words from the sideline to the field, you're good, because most of these words they only talk to a single person. Like I said, the line just needs to know Q belly. Everything before that means red and then Q belly. The rest of it means nothing to them. Flop empty Frida, we're for our backs. So again, we've got right here, this was our F. He was typically lined up in this backfield. Empty brings him out here. This was our A, who was typically in the slot here. We moved him over here to drag this corner out a little bit. And we just went in motion. And what we were game planning as is this linebacker here was going to widen with the motion. We get a little bit of a ride with our quarterback, and he gets right upfield. And we get a pretty good run here. The quarterbacks that you see, I'll brag a little bit, are my nephews. So this is my older nephew. He was with me the previous 2 years with the juniors. We went to back-to-back championships and lost them both, unfortunately. We were undefeated in his second year, and I mean he's kind of a dude. He won our MVP this year or last year, and again he was a starting quarterback up at the seniors as a 7th grader, and had a hell of a season for those guys up there. But again, nothing super complicated here. He comes across in motion, and you can see him. Let me pause it here. If you watch him with the motion, he slides out just enough for the quarterback to get up and underneath that. So there he is. He sees that jet motion, and we hit jet motion on quite a bit with against this team. So they were worried about that. He's widening out there, and the quarterback just takes it. right upfield for a pretty decent gain. We'll watch through this once more. But again, nothing complicated. Blocking rules across the front, all the same. Nothing changes. And again, this is actually our 7th and 8th grade team from this last season, and their blocking rules are the same. Again, we don't necessarily need to go over it, but you're going to get a pull here from their the guard. Maybe not. Maybe you didn't get a. Did you get a pull on this one? No, no pull on that. There might have been a stay call. There might have been somebody. Yeah, there's somebody kind of heads in that A gap. So there probably a stay call there. And again, we're off to the races. This is our brown. So when I was showing the tags earlier, I had that brown and black. So the reason why Kenny put this in is because it would have gotten wordy to get to this look end game. But I like this look because it gives you those 2 extra guys right at a lot of times the point of attack here. We ran this quite a bit this year because we weren't able to pull. So this gave us another back in at the point of attack, and we ran power a ton, power and Trojan a lot this year. Our team this year was, again, they were tough. They struggled to remember a lot of different formations, but we threw a lot at them, and there was not a lot of kids. So it was tough this year with certain things. But kind of besides the point here. So this year we had to come up with something when we didn't really have those guards that could pull. So we went black a lot, and we just kind of pounded it here. Our backside kind of wasn't a strength on our team. So running to the quick side this year was a struggle. Last year, we could run both ways. But again, we had literally twice as many kids. So again, you got to make those adjustments as you go. There's some teams that you're rocking 15 kids. I'm sure there's coaches in here that have 15, maybe 20 kids. And out of those 15, 20 kids, you've got 5, 6 players, and you're trying to hide other kids. You can kind of do that at quick tackle a little bit here. You can definitely do it out at X. But again, you got some strength here at the point of attack. Again, this is another one with our with F here. You can really see his athletic ability on this play. So we'll play it through, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit about it. And he just finds that seam, and watch him pull away from these kids at the end of the play here. I mean, he's just he's an angle buster. Just that kid's speed was unreal. And I've got a video of him from last year. Such a different kid. He's about half the size as he was this year, and he was a little chunky. It was funny. His helmet was bigger than his body last year, and then to see him come back this year and look like this was awesome to see. All right. So because we're in brown or black would be the opposite of this. We down blocked everything, and then anything that needed to be kicked was done by our running backs here. So you can see everybody's blocking down. So you got our tight end here. He comes down. They seal that off really well. They blocked that really well. And we were still missing one of our linemen for this game. So we actually had who was our backside guard playing strong side tackle. And he did a pretty good job this year for us. He was a 10-year-old kid. He's gonna be a good one this next year. And again, you get that big wash down by our B coming down here. Our wing back here is blocking this outside guy. He's not a big, powerful kid, but he did a good enough job, just enough to get in his way, and you create that seam, and he's gone. So again, and then he kind of does the rest. All right, so this is just to kind of show how kind of exotic you can get. This was the play that I was showing to begin the title slide. So what this formation would be is Brown, Strong, Ox, Bear. So Ox talks to so we'll start right from the beginning. Brown, we've kind of already gone over that. Strong, and I just threw that in there just because to show how wordy we can get with it. So that moves our F to the strong side. Ox tells our X over. So typically our X is over on this side in Brown. Ox tells him X over X, however you want to look at that. And then Bear, it was our tag for, actually it was the only time that we didn't run it actually. We did it at the high school, but the youth, we didn't put it in, but it just told our quick tackle to go to the strong side. Granted, I didn't call this formation. We just called regular Brown out of this, and the kids got jacked up. I don't know if it was a play call in the huddle that got twisted up or what it was, but this was literally so. This was the last play of the game. We needed a first down to ice the game. We get the first down. We need it out. We win the county championship. And I didn't realize we were lined up incorrectly. It ended up working out. We were actually the last 3 plays we were running out the clock. We were lined up incorrectly. One of the times we got a penalty. So we were at 1st and 20, and we needed the first down to run it out. And our quarterback made it happen. I mean, he really got. We rode him for the last, pretty much through the playoffs, or at least the semis and the finals. He was our dude for that, and you'll be able to see here. He wasn't the fastest kid, wasn't the strongest kid, but just a hard-nosed runner, and did a great job just finding little seams and getting kind of behind his blockers. And again, you can kind of see the fans going nuts because again, this was the play to win the champion, to lock in that championship. Like I said, we ran this play: Brown Q power, Brown F power, and Brown B power. I'm gonna say if we ran 50 plays in the championship, now probably 30 plays in the championship game, I'm gonna say 25 of them were out of that look. The defense didn't adjust to anything, which is surprising because again, that's a really well coached team. But again, you look on this backside, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a 5th guy from the center over. And then on the strong side, you've got the guard, the tackle, the quick tackle from the other side, the end, the split end, 2 running backs. So we got 7 guys, 8 guys right here, counting the lead block and running back, going on this backside against 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll say 5. So again, we're 8 on 5 on the strong side unbalanced. And again, obviously you can see kind of how it worked out there. Again, we ended up with an extra guy there for that play, but again, it worked. We sealed the deal, and it worked out great. Let's see. Though like I said, I wanted to just quickly go over the different formations we can look at with one look. I've got my huddle pulled up so I can show you drawings of maybe not necessarily plays because I've got slight OCD in the off season. I kind of go through, I wipe out my playbook and start over. And I'm still in the middle of rebuilding all of that. But again, I'm willing to talk football with everybody in here. You got my number. I can hang here. I'm the last session, so I don't think Rick necessarily needs the Zoom after this. So if you guys want to hang out, I'm just kind of hanging out here. And we can keep talking football. I see there's a couple questions in there. I can leave this up here for a second. Let's see, am I going to block that? All right, so let's see. All right, so undersized players on our team, I'm going to kind of answer. We got a couple things here. I'm going to leave my contact info up there. So I'll go back to some of this here. So one of the reasons we're looking at Kenny's system is struggle to undersized linemen. So with that, a lot of it's down blocks and pulls. So undersized linemen, it's the old school wing T. You get some small guards that are quick, and you want some tough kids, but they don't need to be big. If they're just tough and are gritty, you're going to be totally fine with this offense. We had some kids that weren't very, very big, and especially at the high school level, that's where it really showed for us. For us this year at the youth level, we especially through the playoff run, we took our 2 biggest dudes, put them on the same side, and we just powered behind it for most of the playoff run, and it worked. But at the high school level, our 2 guards, I don't think either of them weigh over a $165. And I'm not going to try to brag here a little bit, but I'm going to try to brag here a little bit. I coach at Hoosick Valley in Western Mass. We are a school of maybe 200 kids, maybe. We're the smallest school in the state. We're a Division 8 team, and we had 1 senior on our team this year. I think maybe 5 or 6 juniors. Out of that junior class, we had 2 that have like youthful experience from the youth on up. Then the other guys were kind of newer players to the system, and then the rest were sophomore and freshmen that were playing for us. And we ended up ranked 4th in the state. I think we were 3rd in the state rolling into the final season, or final game of the season. We were 1 game away from playing for the state championship. I know we got a lot of Massachusetts guys here, and it's tough for us little schools out here in Western Mass to compete with you big boys out in the eastern part of the state. But again, we had a very young team, and we kind of held our own until we got out there. But But again, you can definitely run this system with some smaller guys. Again, like I said, we had our both of our guards were a buck 60, buck 65. Our strong tackle was maybe 200 pounds, so it wasn't like he was 260. So again, we had a small line across the high school level, and even again, that type of stuff translates for the youth. And it's a lot of technique. If you can really work that technique with your players and making sure, like Kenny does a whole thing on kind of teaching your players how to lose, and it's just pretty much putting your body between you and the hole. I mean, it's kind of old school football with that stuff, but again, you don't need pancake blocks. You saw that big block on the edge there by one of our small guys, just one of our wing back on that long run. It wasn't a kill shot. He got in his way long enough. Granted, I know that's on the edge, but it's the same thing in the middle. These plays hit so quick that you just need to get in their way long enough, engage for a half a second, and we should be by you. So again, you shouldn't have any issue because you have undersized linemen. Are you always running power to the strength? We are. But we run power and belly. So so it's very similar. Go back to our base. And I can show some film with belly. So like out of this look, our belly look, we don't change it. But it's so let's do this. Let's see, I'm going to try to draw on this a little bit. It might be ugly, so bear with me. There's that. All right. So our power, as you've seen, all goes to the strong side. Belly it's the opposite. So for us, power, I know it didn't show it a ton with a lot of the film with our backside guard pull wrap, but so on power, our backside guard pulls wrap. On belly, this guy pull wraps here. We try to get a double team either here or depending on the front, if we can get a double team here or here. But the blocking rules are kind of the same for our quick tackle as they were for the Y. If there's somebody inside of you, you block down. If there's somebody outside, you block out. Our F, we kind of put on a little bit of an island out here because we kind of left it on him to realize, okay, if he's double teaming here and there's somebody outside of him, he's got a kick. If there is somebody outside of our tackle and the other guy's inside here, our quick tackle blocks out on him, and our running back leads up, and then our quarterback gets behind him and up through the hole. So that's kind of, I guess you can call it kind of power to the backside. We call it power and belly. I don't know if it's necessarily the perfect terminology for all the football minds out there, but it's what we call it. It works for us. I know Kenny doesn't even use the word power or Kenny has belly and quick belly, but he doesn't even call it that. I don't know. Every year, I think he changes it. Matt Brewster was talking earlier. He's a youth coach up in New Hampshire. I think he called to the strong side knife and the backside sword or vice versa or something like that. So again, it doesn't necessarily need to be power or belly. Kind of come up with what you think your kids are going to remember and kind of run with it from there. Again, we run six different run concepts, and I can kind of show you guys those if you want to see them. I can show you some film with those. But again, like we keep it very simple at the youth. We don't give too exotic with the play calls, like the concepts. But I do like to get, especially with a team that I can install. So 2 years ago, we were able to put in, I bet we had 100 formations because you can combine tags, combine motion, or not combine motion, but combine the motions with multiple tags. So you can get a lot of different looks. You could, even out of this, I'm trying to figure out. We'll put the F on the strong side. So we'll move him from here over to here, and we'll run motion with our A. He comes here and then runs power. Nothing changes for anybody. We get that lead blocker here. He valleys in here, depending on where if there's an end out here, he blocks out. If there's not, he blocks down. But again, now it's the same play, but to a defense, it looks totally different because you got this guy getting the ball, coming in motion, getting a handoff and getting upfield. So again, there's a lot of different looks you can get into and run the same exact play for typically those six guys. And it does maybe change with these two on the end. I look like John Madden here with all my lines. But again, for the most part, it's a lot of the same stuff. Nothing too complicated with it. Let's see. I've got a couple questions here. Let's see. Hold on one second. Do you find that slow snaps create a disadvantage to your offense? Snaps are huge. Um, if you don't have a center that can make solid snaps, you're going to struggle. It's going to be tough. Perfect example is game one this year for us. We were playing the team that ended up being the #1 seed. We ended up losing, I think it was 8-6. We were inside the 5-yard line twice. Well, inside the 5-yard line 3 times. We scored once. The other 2 times we had fumbles. Both times the snaps weren't great. One was more, I'm going to blame my running back more for dropping the snap. The other one, the snap went over the quarterback's head. Neither time we came out with points. And again, we lost 8-6. So, I mean, but we were inside the 5 on both times. So, like I said, you got to have a guy at center that can snap. He doesn't need to be a great blocker. You want him to be good enough to get into somebody's way and engage, but he doesn't need to be a fantastic blocker. I will take a kid that can make perfect snaps or near perfect snaps over a kid that can pancake block or make big time blocks 100 times out of 100, because if you don't get those snaps, nothing works. The timing's off, everything is off. I mean, just think with like when you're trying to run jet and you get that motion. If that snap is just a hair off, that throws that whole thing off, or you end up having to snap the ball when the jet motion that's coming is still outside the tackle, and you got to snap it earlier, which slows down, kind of takes away the advantage of jet of getting the snap and getting it down, and he's already hitting the edge at full speed. Now you're saying go because you're worried about that snap when that guy coming in motion is pretty far away from the quarterback. So, like I said, having a center that makes good snaps is everything. It truly is. And again, I overemphasized in my first 2 years. I had a center that never missed a snap. I was super spoiled the first 2 years running the system. This last year, we went through 3 different centers. We did end up finding a center, but we were already 0-4 by that point. Again, we started 0-4 and won our last 5 games, including the championship. So again, we did right the ship, but it definitely had some growing pains, and a lot of it started with our center. Is barrier tag that talks to the tackles? At the high school level, yes. We don't have that necessarily at the youth, not because we couldn't. I just never put it in. But at the high school, we use bull and bear. So bull will move an extra tackle to the left side. Bear moves the extra tackle to the right side. Do you run anything under center? Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, we have a under center package. I try to avoid using it, and so let's put it this way. I really made sure to put it in after that first week when we couldn't get a snap down and we were inside the 5 and couldn't punch it in twice. I really put it in then. It became a point of emphasis at practice, but I didn't want to spend a ton of time on it. So what we ended up doing, let's see, I think I don't have it drawn up. Hold on, I'll show you kind of what it looks like. So we ran it mostly out of Mustang. So what we did here is we stayed in, so our call would still be Red Axe Mustang. The only difference is our quarterback would go under center, and we really dumbed down the offense at that point. So if we were under center, we kept the same play calls. So if we were running power, it was the same thing. Our quarterback moved up under center. So he was here. He's out of the way here. And if we went Red Axe, again, we'll just call it Red Axe F power. Red Axe F power. The quarterback went under center. We called it Uncle, so it would have been Uncle Red Axe Mustang. So then our quarterback went under center. Just like when we're in the gun, he leads up and through. His footwork is more kind of horizontal. His footwork is more horizontal and then gets downhill here. He reverse pivots and just makes the handoff here. So that was our power. 2 years ago when I ran under center, we got rid of any pulls because we didn't put a ton of got rid of pulls when we were under center. Because we didn't put a ton of time in working under center. A lot of times the guard trying to come down the line, our quarterback wasn't getting out of the way fast enough. If you're exclusively under center, you put that time in to make sure you work your quarterback's footwork to pushing off from the center to create that space. I didn't want to spend a ton of time with that. I wanted to make sure we could run our base more efficiently. So again, that we just got rid of pulls and ran it like that. So that would be power. If we wanted to go, say we wanted to run sweep, it was very, so we'd call red, Uncle Red, Axe, F Trojan. So Trojan is our sweep to the strong side. Nothing changes. Where it's the only difference is between these two. So our B's rules for Trojan is number 1 from the sideline. So he kind of still does the same thing. He gets out to the sideline. Our Y blocks out. It's more of a reach block depending on where it is. If it's an end heads up, he just takes them there. But he has the number 2. Sometimes it's an outside linebacker that he reaches because this guy's on the inside and he just the tackle's going to reach. But what we would do here is now our F is running sweep like this, and this turned into a pitch. So it'd still be the blocking rules for everybody are the same. We got rid of the pulls, but again, everything else is kind of the same. So we're still keeping the same concepts, but it's under center. So again, you got to kind of work it with your backs. Nothing necessarily changes for your linemen. So again, you try to keep it as simple as you can for the linemen. Because once they get into those higher levels, there's multiple tags. So if we call F power, we might call F power dubs, which would talk to these guys and they would double team out here. And again, that's a whole nother talk. Kenny's got a ton of stuff on that kind of different tags and everything like that. But again, that would be our Trojan if we wanted to go sweep strong. If we wanted to go jet, which is our quick, our sweep to the quick side, same thing. He's reaching just like he would on jet. Even if like he was in the gun, everybody's kind of reaching next man over. He lead blocks to the edge, and we always have our F because we got beat the hell on this guy on the edge here, especially if we were in X. So we wouldn't be in X if we were going backside, and we would have our X and our A blocking down. But again, you'd have an end that would be sitting just outside shoulder here, and this quick tackle isn't going to get out to him. 90% of the time, he's going to struggle to get out to that block. So we would tell our F, peek inside on the way by. So he's coming here. He's looking here first to make sure that that's sealed. If that's sealed or this guy is deep, then he continues down and he picks him up downfield. But again, he checks this edge first because if this kid's going to blow it up. If there's going to be anybody that's going to blow up the play, it's going to be this kid. Again, now he runs sweep. He gets the edge. Reverse pivot, gets pitched out to here, and we just run jet to the quick side. So again, we didn't necessarily recreate the wheel. We definitely dumbed down the system because we only ran out of Mustang. We did at one point go get to our beast look. Let me put there. Oh, there we go. So we would get into our red beast Mustang, same thing, but it would give us the extra blocker on this backside. So I think a lot of times we didn't actually, I don't think we went under center once this year. We got lucky once we made those adjustments, we were all right. But like I said, under center, same thing. We added the tight end here. We'd split this guy out just to kind of get rid of it. You know, we would just run right or left, whether it was Trojan, jet, power, belly, whatever it was. We could pretty much run our entire offense that way. It was simpler, but it was kind of that same process. All right. I think I answered every question here. Are there any other questions? I've got my huddle pulled up on another screen. I can pull right back up, and I've got it kind of separated out by a different concepts, and I've got a bunch of formations drawn up. If you want me to pull up anything specific there, let me know. If you have any questions, like I said, I'm here. There's not a whole lot going on, and like I said, I think I'm the last talk of the day, so we can kind of keep going if you want, or we can wrap it up, watch some football. I don't think I'm the only one in here that's upset about tonight's game being on Peacock. That's kind of ridiculous, but that's a conversation for another time. Have you had any luck with screens at this age level? Like a bubble screen, like a middle screen? What kind of screen are you talking? We haven't done any like middle screens, but we will hit like a bubble. We will run, we call it F swing, but it's pretty much just our F running bubble out of the backfield. We had some success with that, but those are really the only screens we ran. Again, we couldn't really run those now screens to our X because like I said earlier, he's not typically he's not the most athletic kid out there. So we don't necessarily run that too often. We do at the high school level, but not at the youth level. But we will throw like our quick screens to our slot guy. And we've actually even moved our bubbler fast. So we have run bubble. Let me pull that up. So give me 1 second here. Let me get out of this. I think I've got it. So I kind of threw a bunch of them here. So some of the film might not be the best. How many do I have? All right, so I've only got 3. Hopefully I've got a good one here. All right. So we are in red empty right now. Like I said, this ain't a great, let's see, I might have a better look. Actually, all right, so this is a little bit of a better look. This is this year's team. So right now we are in this is just blue. So this is that fast kid at F that was burning kids earlier. We would move him around. Sometimes if we wanted to line him up at A, we would switch our A and our F just 1 for 1 because this kid was our backup F. So we were able to kind of switch those 2 kids. He had way better hands. So I think this was just bubble to him, and we're in empty. So blue empty. We don't block it very well, but again, the kid's an athlete and makes a play. I would like the spacing a hair better on this. But again, this is actually at our jamboree. So this was before our first game. So again, nothing fancy there. This was okay. So this was just a bubble out of a. Let's see, what look do we got here? So this was okay. So this is red empty squeeze. So squeeze is another call. All squeeze does is it just condenses the formation. So the guys that are split are condensed down tighter to the line. So this is your quick tackle. This is our F and empty. So you can see the difference between these two. So we're actually strong on this side. So this isn't even. So this is red X empty strong actually. So I was a little bit wrong there, but it's the same concept. So this is, like I said, blue empty. This kid right here is the F. And that's a little bit further, like more upfield. But again, same general concept. I think the play got called back. This was our senior team this year. But those are really the only, like I said, this look wasn't great, I don't think. Again, this is the bubble. This is red empty. So this is our F back. Let's see. I don't know how good of a play this is. I don't think they blocked very well. Yeah. So like I said, it wasn't a great look out of that, but we have run that. We haven't run really any now screens. I am showing that. You can't see the video. Joe, can you see the video now? You cannot see it. Oh, why is it? Hold on. It says my screen sharing's paused. Sorry about that. Oh, I think it's because I switched tabs. How do I change this? Resume share. Oh, I see what's happening. Hold on. This is just me being new with Zoom. All right. You should be able to see it now, right? All right. Perfect. Sorry about that. All right. So, like I said, this was this year. So what we've got here, we're in. So this is the one so this is our tight end here, number 6. So this formation, I know I've got it as blue empty, but that's not it. All right, so we're actually all jacked up here. I don't even know how the hell we're lined. Okay. I know what I did here. So what we ended up doing, because we were running into issues with pressure on the quick side without our tight end, we ended up going yo a lot, which is Y over. So we are in blue empty. So this is blue, which is tight end or wing left, but yo tells our Y to go over. So right now we're in blue yo. So we've got our tight end over to the quick side to just help block on that side. empty. So this is our F right here. This kid right here is our F. And we just run bubble. The kid makes a play. We don't block it very well, but like I said, the kid's a dude for us and just kind of makes a play. I think he breaks 3 different tackles and then rips it for a touchdown. And this was during the preseason. So this was our jamboree where we played we got 3 games. All right, so this is right before the last scrimmage before the season started. So you got that look. This is how we ran it this year. The seniors were a little bit different. Like I said, this is our condensed look. This is our squeeze look, and this is the F. So this is red, empty. This is their F right here. And they throw it to him. It's a little bit more downhill, but because it's squeezed, I don't want to call it a wheel, but it's similar to that, I guess you could say. He kind of wheels out a little bit. But all intents and purposes, it's kind of bubble. I think Matt mentioned in a previous talk, you also run duo. Is that or is that your power call? No, that's not our power call. We don't necessarily run duo, but when we got rid of our pulls, I guess we kind of ran duo. So, and I don't really have a ton of film on or any film on it, to be honest with you. But so what we did is we pretty much just told our linemen double team across the line. Obviously, at the point of attack, we had our rules, but then we pretty much just told the rest of our line to down block play side and then just double team where you can. So I mean that's kind of duo, not really. Like we don't bring the wing across. I'd like to, and I think we're going to install that at the high school. But like I said, at the youth, they have that. I think people call it a wham block where they come across from one side of the field to the other. We don't really have in our backs. Asking a 10-year-old kid to read the blocks, I think that would have been a little bit tough and would have taken a lot of practice time. So, like I said, we don't necessarily run duo. Let's see. So let's jump out of this real quick. So, I mean, these are kind of some of the different concepts that I've got. If there's anything you want to see, definitely let me know and we can jump into some of these, or we can call it a day. We can call it a day and you can text me afterwards. I mean, I'm all for talking football. I mean, I love it. It's my passion. So again, I'll talk football all day long with just about anybody. Can we see a Trojan call? Yep. All right, let's see if I can find a good Trojan look. We don't want that one. Oh, hold on. I never deselected this one. There we go. I was wondering why it all kind of looked the same. All right. So this is our Trojan. And again, this is from this year. So we don't have any pullers. Typically, you pull both guards and they're like wide, should be kind of wide pulls. So like both guards would kind of lead and pull and lead block on the edge. I believe I do have film of that from 2 years ago. So I'll play this one real quick. You'll kind of get a general idea. So this is our tight end, and his rule on Trojan is the block number 2 from the sideline. So if you're looking here, and we don't count the corner, so he's not a threat. I mean, if the corner was sitting right in here, then yeah, we would count him as the number 1. But if he's split out, or even sitting over here, we don't necessarily count him. So really, for this look where we're at, this is probably the 1. This kid right here, this end. And because we're in brown, this kid probably becomes the 2, kind of. Like I said, it's kind of tough with this look, but you'll kind of get the general idea of it. And what we coach this kid to do, because what we found was if we're running Trojan to the outside or jet to the outside to the quick side, what these guys want to do is they'll run horizontal all the way to the numbers, then try to cut it up, and they'll have a ton of green grass. So we've tried to get them in the habit of the second you see green grass, cut it upfield, get what you can. And like I said, he does a great job there. He gets upfield, hits that edge, and he gets a big play on it. But again, with them playing tight, we get a good seal block here. And he hits that edge and he just uses his speed to beat him. But let me see if I've got it. All right, so actually this is a good one for tonight's talk. All right, so this is red. So the play call for this is red, empty. So this is our F right here. Fly, F Trojan, or Frida, F Trojan. So our F is going to go in motion and then run Trojan. And you can see we've got trips to this side, and you can see how they're overloaded on this side of the field. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 backers on this side and 1 kid on this side, and I think that's their corner. So you can definitely see how just being in this formation and then motioning this kid over, I don't think they adjust a whole lot with this motion. See what I mean? We get away with a little bit of an offsides there, but that's okay. Again, that kid hits the edge and he's gone. I think he scores on it. Yeah. I think that kid scored more times when he touched the ball than he didn't. But again, it's nothing overly complicated. We try to keep it as simple as possible. It makes play calling a lot easier, and you can get into a lot of exotic looks. Again, I don't think they really shifted much. This kid might move a little bit, kind of. But again, that kid's more hopping in the middle of the field. He hits that edge and he's gone. So again, that's where motions and formations can make such a huge, huge deal. And it doesn't take much to install it. It's a lot easier to install formations and motions than it is to install new concepts. And that's what I like about formations and motions. You can get through a lot of them really quickly, and the kids pick it up pretty quick. I know Matt Brewster was talking during his speech earlier about how trust your kids. Like, they're going to surprise you with what they're able to handle. And I've learned that over the last 3 years, like mainly starting with this group that you're seeing here, because I had them for both years in this system, and having them for 2 years, I was able to build off of our first year a lot more. So like being able to throw a lot of this stuff at them, and it clicked for them. It worked for them. It like I said, and it really opened up a lot of things. Actually, here, you'll be able to get good see the line here. So there's our center. You got a guard here and a guard here, and they both pull. He's got the number 1, which should, I don't know which way he's going to go with it, whether it's this kid or this kid. And then this kid blocks here, the number 2, but they both know that they're blocking out. So that's the difference between Buck. Sorry, I'm loading. Come on. There we go. So you got the 2 guards pull wrapping. They kind of helped on that edge, and they just got to that outside. Your 2 pulling guards right here. These 2 help seal that edge. Then that kid just out leveraged everybody and got down that sideline. So this is just our red Mustang X. So we're in Mustang and with X. So we got our X and RA to the strong side. Our Mustang, our 2 backfield, and we might have pulled on this. This was early in the season. We might have pulled. Yeah, we pulled 1 kid because we only had our 1 guard still. And again, he hit that edge, and he was a tough runner too. That number 76 was a big kid. He was tough to handle. You could see him kind of in the middle here, creating a little bit of a problem for us. But he had a motor. He chased kids down. I mean, he's probably 15 yards, 20 yards downfield trying to chase down our running back. So I give that kid a ton of credit. Trojan out of Brown. We kind of showed that already. We got 1 pull, and then you can see we got a lead blocker with our F is back here. So this is with our quarterback. I didn't show a ton of runs with our quarterback, but I did run the quarterback a lot. So we're in Brown Q Trojan. So you got your Brown here, your tight end wing, or your tight end, your wing, and your A right on the edge here. It's tough to see them here, but you got your F and your quarterback behind it. You can see it as they come around the edge. So there's our F. You can see it was a bad snap, which actually helped let the guards get ahead of him. But again, this kid's running down, looking for someone. Again, we didn't block it very well, but you got to get the concept. Blue empty fly. Like I said, I really like fly motion with Trojan. Yeah. And again, this is a team we played in the championship. They beat us up pretty good in the Jamboree. All right, so here you've got a Trojan. So just kind of a different look for Trojan. We're in red. This is our base look. So you just got your tight end wing. So your F is to the strong side. So it's a strong call, but it's implied. because the play is going that way and he's a lead blocker. So we didn't call strong in the huddle. The F just knows that because we're going to the strong side and he's not getting it, he gets out there and lead blocks. This is our A. He comes in, we call it train motion. I don't know if we get a gain on this or not. He comes across, hits that edge, and it's a positive gain. But so, I mean, so really you've seen the F get the ball on Trojan, the Q get the ball on Trojan, and the A get the ball on Trojan. So you've seen all of our backs get the ball on Trojan, one out of one look or another. So you having 3 quality backs is huge with this. And then if you remember, we showed it was a similar look. We were in flop, but it was very flop empty, but it was a similar look. It was one of the last plays I showed when I was going over power. Remember, this kid came in motion, the quarterback rode him, and then took it upfield and ran Q power. So I think this play was earlier than we ran this first to set that. I didn't. It was the senior head coach ran this to set up that quarterback power, pull that linebacker out, and we got up and underneath it. Does that help with Trojan? Does that kind of answer your questions? Not a problem, Joe. Appreciate it. Like I said, is there anything else you guys are looking to see? Like I said, these are kind of some of the concepts we ran. Again, I've got some plays have more plays than them, or some concepts have more plays in them than others, but all right, we're starting to whittle down a little bit here. We're down to 5 guys in here, and again, I'll hang with you 5 and talk football the rest of the night. If there's anything else you guys want to see, just let me know. If not, I'm going to wrap this up. And like I said, I'll throw my contact info up there one last time in case you missed it. I think I got to stop share. And then here. All right. So then there's my contact info again. Like I said, feel free to text me. Again, if you call and I don't know the number, I'm not going to answer it. But definitely email me, text me. And like I said, I'll talk football. I know Matt and I plan on doing more Zooms, and we want to kind of break down more for the youth, like break down each concept a little bit more in depth, and maybe with some of the tags and everything like that as well. So kind of keep an eye out on Facebook. That's where we post most of that type stuff, and we can kind of go from there. But if that's everything, I think I'm going to call it a day and go watch the rest of this game. I don't even know what the score is or anything to the game. And then figure out what I'm going to do for the game on Peacock tonight. But guys, appreciate you coming in. Love talking football. Anytime, reach out. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your night, guys.